It's time to talk.
When I opened the paper the other day, I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe my eyes. In fact, hand on heart, I truly thought the article I was reading may have been some kind of made-up joke. I mean, it just had to be some sort of media prank. But it wasn't. Next month, John Farnham is releasing a new album, a new CD, and he's going to support its release by going on tour again. I tell you what, I think this guy needs to be locked up. He really does. It's become a running joke that John Farnham's had more farewells than Nellie Melba, and that'd be fine if it wasn't a joke at the expense of thousands upon thousands of Australians who have been conned out of their hard-earned cash through Farnham's false claims that his so-called farewell concerts in 2002 and 2003 were to be his last. At least, that's what I think. Maybe you're not aware, but John Farnham's Last Time tour became Australia's highest-grossing concert series of all time. And that was hugely in part to the fact that he got out there and he sold the shows as a piece of Australian musical history. This is it, folks, he said. He charged premium prices for the tickets, and they were snapped up by thousands of suckers who truly believed that they were in for the final curtain call of one of Australia's greatest and most popular entertainers. And yes, I do acknowledge the man's talent. But what these fans didn't know when they were buying their tickets was that the man would fairly quickly do the dirty on them. He didn't retire at all. All those tears that were shed by the fans, the flowers that were thrown on the stage, the air kisses, and Farnham himself wiping a crocodile tear or two from his eye before leaving the stage each night. It was, in my opinion, all an elaborate farce. Or at the very least, a clear-cut case of misleading advertising. He said no more tours and no more studio albums. Now, Farnham's supporters trudge out the same old defence whenever this issue is raised. Johnny never said he was retiring, he just said he wasn't doing the big venues anymore. I mean, it's got to make you laugh, doesn't it? Talk about playing with definitions. So, he was retiring, but only under certain conditions and only from certain venues. Is that really the defence? Let's deal with some definitions that are more firmly rooted in reality. False advertising is the use of misleading or deceptive statements to convince consumers to purchase a product or a service. Now that's a definition that smacks of truth in this case. Posters and commercials across Australia declaring the last time. Farnham supporters will tell you that he made it clear it was only the last time at the big venues, which is laughable in itself because retiring from Rod Laver Arena or the Sydney Entertainment Centre is hardly a reason to name an event after that. Now make no mistake, it wasn't until after he sold the tickets and he was on the stage that he started to whimper this ridiculous new twist in his story. And I've seen the footage of him saying this. He goes, "Oh, don't worry folks, it's just the big venues I won't be playing anymore." I have to wonder how many people in the audiences must have turned to each other and just went, "Huh? Isn't this meant to be the last time? What's he talking about?" So let's do a quick recap. After Farnham sold record amounts of tickets for the Last Time tour, he spent a little more than a year in his phony state of retirement, possibly counting his money, who knows. Then lo and behold, he announces a new concert tour. This time, a 10-date series starring alongside Tom Jones. "Doesn't count," he said. "This isn't a solo tour." "Yeah, okay, Johnny, we'll let you off just this once, okay? We'll let you play with definitions, not a solo tour. Fair enough." "But what's that, John? You're coming back again. This time by demand." "Oh, demand. Okay, whose demand are you talking about, John? Is it the demand of your accountant? Your manager, maybe? Your sense of greed?" "Oh, no. It's by popular demand." That's right. Last year, Farnham came back again with his Live by Demand shows. But they didn't count as a breach of his earlier Last Time promise, he claimed, because Live by Demand was held in little tiny venues, no bigger than my pinky finger. And what's the story now? Yep, you guessed it, folks. Johnny's back again. I read it in the paper today. He's releasing a song called, wait for it, Hit the Road, Jack. I mean, he's having a joke at our expense, surely. Can the man really have this much nerve? Hit the road, Jack. Unbelievable. It might seem like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but let me just make my point abundantly clear. If someone retires, they do have a right to come back. They can do that 20, 30 times for all I care. But Farnham's story is different. He traded on a lie. It doesn't matter one bit that he claims he only ever announced retiring from big venues. What we have to look at here is what the average Joe punter believed when they were paying the big bucks to see the last time tour. And there's no doubt, no question, the ticket holders believed this was the final call. And the man himself was everywhere at the time, and he was telling us exactly that. The Competition and Consumers Committee needs to investigate this matter thoroughly. Farnham made big bickies by claiming the last time CD and the tour were both his last. What are the penalties for false advertising in Australia? And why aren't they being enforced on Mr. Farnham?
It's time to talk.